The great debate when you enter Disneyland, and I don't know if Magic Kingdom has this because I've never been to Magic Kingdom, but at Disneyland at least, once you make it past the turnstile,
Mhm.
you have to make a critical decision. Right in front of you is the flower arrangement of usually Mickey Mouse or something seasonal they're doing. Right above that is the world famous train station for Main Street, USA. But the critical junction you got to do when you walk in is do you go to the left or do you go to the right? There's two tunnels that let you pass underneath the train station. Which way
Oh,
do you go?
that's where you're at. Um, to me, it depends.
On what? There's only one answer.
It's not a critical decision to me
It's
until I
very
get
critical.
down after Main Street. Um, so I will go to whichever tunnel is closest to whichever turnstile I went through.
Okay.
That's how I decide that because other than the posters, there's not really much difference in the tunnel themselves. So people that haven't been there, there's like coming attraction type posters of all the
From
different
the 50s.
things. Yeah, they're really old, and but it's all for the different rides. But then you either get dumped out in front of the fire station,
On the left-hand
town
side,
hall
City
on
Hall.
the left. On the right hand side, then it's the little museum
Yeah, the
thing.
moments with Lincoln and or the new Walt Disney experience,
Yeah.
depending on which day of the week you go.
But usually when you're entering the park, especially if you're rope dropping, none of that stuff matters. You're beelining it all the way down into the center hub. And at that point, do you go left? Do you go
Hmm.
straight or do you go right? And that's the question I thought you were asking.
So it's okay. So that's another topic for another episode. For
Okay.
road car, where do you go? But this is the gate is very interesting because I it doesn't matter which turnstile I go through, it's always right because of the flow of traffic. Because the left one is always exit.
Okay,
So
but
if you don't,
well,
if
I
you
guess it depends on what time of day you're coming
anytime
through.
1 hour after the park opens when people are coming out,
Okay. How
right?
many
At any
people
point that
enter and then leave after an hour?
well, I guess now it's a little bit different because now you have to. I guess then maybe after 11 a.m., right? Because it
Okay.
used to be that prior pre-COVID, you could go to any park you wanted at any time that you wanted.
Mhm.
So it was very possible for you to go in, get some coffee from Coronation Cafe, and then leave and then go across to DCA. But now you can't really. I mean, I suppose you can leave to go back to downtown
It's not
Disney.
as convenient, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not as necessary. But you most people won't be able to leave until at least 11 that you can cross to the other park.
Mhm.
But any time after 11 a.m., then you do have this cross
Yeah.
traffic situation, and you don't want to be going out the way. It's almost like going the wrong way at Costco.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you never wanna do that.
You never
Um,
want to.
but, yeah, so if it's busy and there's people coming in and out, I would follow the rules of the road, and I would stay to the right.
Okay, so it's interesting. So Disney Tokyo is a replica of Disney Anaheim, one
Okay.
to one, and don't they drive on the other side of the road?
I do not remember if Japan drives on the wrong side of the road or not.
I know their steering was on the other side.
Then they must drive on the wrong.
Yes. So then, would you go to Disneyland in Japan and go the other way? That'd be trippy.
No, I would follow the traffic. Um, but yeah, usually I'm rope dropping. I'm very rarely not rope dropping, and I would just go to the nearest tunnel from wherever I went through the turnstiles.
I will tell you another benefit to going to the right or going to the left that
Mhm.
most people might not know unless you go during parade times. So you want to be there specifically during the parade because the parade, as you may or may not know, ends and or starts depending on which way it's going
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there on Main Street, right? But there is a break. So once you get past the Moments with Lincoln or the Walt Disney Museum, there's the break, the big gate where the parades are coming out of.
Mhm.
But they will open an adjacent door to that gate,
Oh yes, yes,
and it
yeah.
basically takes you to the backside of all of the stores
On
of
Main
of Main Street.
Street.
And they only open this during rush hour traffic, right? But if you were to try to go to Space Mountain or
Mhm.
any mountain
Yeah.
during the parade, if you are on the left, you will have to squeeze your way through somehow, right?
Yeah.
Because only on the right is the traffic going that way. Because they open both back stages, by the way. But if you're trying to go towards the castle and the parade is about to start or is happening,
Mhm.
the left gate that they open is only exits coming out from the castle towards the exit. So it's a
Okay.
one-way traffic. The cast members will not let you go in the
Mhm.
opposite direction. I tried it, which is why I'm saying I've been pulled back. I've been yelled at. I've been returned.
So yeah, parades are the only time I ever get yelled at Disney, and they just seem to be so strict about roping things off, and yeah, the parade's not even in sight. I just want to go across the street. No,
Dude,
you can't do it.
tell me about it. So this is the dumbest thing that they do at Disney. I saw this over the summer and I was flabbergasted by the dumbness of this idea. So the parade at night happens around 8:30, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
And so for the parade, you're usually sitting somewhere because you're waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
And then it's a 15-20 minute parade. So you're not really standing,
Hmm.
right? Some people, like myself included, sometimes go and sit up to 3 hours before the parade starts just so you can secure a good spot,
Uh-huh.
right? So we're
Mhm.
sitting down, and the curb, because it's a street after all, right? The curb usually works as a very good like seat, right? Except Disney, every 15 feet has two trash cans up
Okay.
against the lip of the curb.
Hmm.
So you cannot sit on the curb in where the trash cans are every 15 feet.
Sure.
So I moved it.
Move the trash cans.
I pushed them back.
Okay.
They came
And
and yelled at us and told us we had to move out of the way and to put the trash cans back.
yeah.
Right? Now, fine, whatever. I was like, Disney's got their rules. I'll
Hmm.
give it to them.
Yeah.
Except this is where the rules stop making sense.
Hmm.
As soon as the parade was over, the fireworks then starts.
Hmm.
And so they kindly ask you to get off the street, they ask you to get off the sidewalk
Hmm.
and populate the street. Because now the
Hmm.
street's not going to be used for the parade.
Yeah.
Guess what they did with the trash cans?
They moved them.
They push them against the outside of the sidewalk. I'm like, why couldn't you have done that when the parade was there and you actually need the real estate to sit down?
Yeah.
I almost lost it. I almost lost it at that point. I was like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. You force the real estate lossage.
No.
You give up the real estate that the two
Yeah.
trash cans take up every freaking 15 feet
Yeah.
when you actually want to sit down. But
Mhm.
when it's standing room only for the fireworks, they move the trash cans out of the way.
So I really enjoy the parades at Disney, but it's typically the thing I skip the most, mainly because of the lack of the ability for crowd control.
Right.
There's just not any decent places, and if you're not,
3 hours.
yeah, if you're not 3 hours early, and then that doesn't lock it in, or you you can get there. So in Disney World, this great family, I suppose, had these seats that they had apparently sat there for hours to guarantee that they would have a good view of the parade. But then just before the parade, all the families crowded in between their seats and the road. So unless they stood up, they couldn't really see anything, and then they still had a restricted view. We were one of the families that got in their way.
Mm.
And these people were very upset. It was like, we've been here for 4 hours, and you guys are all blocking our views. And I'm like, yeah, I waited a year and a half to bring my family to Disney, and I'd like to see the parade. Sorry about your 4 hours. So, um,
Yeah, the parade leaves for a lot of like there's just not enough seating. There's not
yeah,
enough viewing areas.
yeah,
And the crowd control is insane. It is insane. I sat there for 3 hours and I just in total admiration of the guy, the section leader of how they let people cross because there are breaks in the parade and they're like this, like come on, you come,
Yeah,
and they're just letting traffic cross, and it's just crazy the
yeah. I've,
amount of
I've seen the
coordination.
two extremes where some cast members are just, just anal about, everyone push back. No one's allowed to do this. No one, and then others that are just handle it perfectly. They get the same results, but the first type of cast member pisses off the majority of people waiting to see the parade, and the other one makes it a magical experience. And I've seen both at both parks.
And I
Um,
think you just said something very important, right? I think sometimes the cast members forget that there's a magical part of this thing. Because if you
mhm.
didn't want a magical experience, you'd go to some other park.
Yeah.
And the
Uh,
parade is such a huge part of the Disney experience because no other theme parks do it this way.
yeah, very few theme parks have parades that are this at this scale.
Right. I mean, Macy's Day Parade, eh.
That's not that's not a theme park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying it's still compared to what I mean, the spectacle of like what Disney puts on for some of these parades, it's crazy. At least the newer one that they did to paint the night this summer, it
Yeah,
was just
yeah, that
beautiful.
was really good. And that one was an example of great crowd control, from where I viewed it, and I stumbled upon the parade. I wasn't expecting the parade, and so I was sitting down, and then a lot of other people started sitting down next to me. I wasn't right on the curb. I was like, I don't know. There was like a big flower bed, and I was on the back side of the
Of
flower
that
bed.
hotbed. God
Yeah,
forbid that your shoelace becomes untied during the parade and you stop in the middle of traffic because you will
oh,
get
we'll do
yelled at.
that. Yeah,
It
yeah,
still blows my mind though. My one of my pet peeves is like you're in the middle of this parade and like somebody just stops. I'm
mm,
like, you do not just stop. Like this is like there's rules here.
yeah. But yeah, that particular parade I think, was a great example of great cast members handling it well. And I was there and I listened to them talk to some pretty irate people that were all upset about their kid not being able to see the parade. And they're like, you can't have your kid standing on top of the flower
Or
uh,
the trash can.
planter or the trash can.
True.
And but I just sat there patiently, and then as the parade was starting, they came over and asked me if I wanted to go to a VIP viewing.
Oh, I remember this story.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm here by myself. I don't need a VIP. But there was this younger family that was trying to get their kid to be able to see the parade. I'm like, why don't you ask these three? And they took
Oh,
them.
kind of. Sean knowing how to spread the Disney magic.
Yeah, I have no idea where this VIP viewing place was, but
But you know what? I mean, the cast members still do have a very tricky job, right? Like, first of all, they're all high schoolers, and
yeah, they're all minimum wage people
yeah.
that are dealing with crazy Disney fans that
But it's hard.
one
But at
little
the same time, it just takes one person to ruin the magic.
yeah, it does. And if you're at the parade, especially the nighttime parades, you've been there with children all day long, waiting in long lines to get on rides and stuff. Tensions are running very thin. Um,
Yeah, not to mention the fact that like 70% of the park leaves right after the parade and the fireworks.
oh yeah, yeah,
So
that's
everybody's like itching to get out. And the only thing anybody's thinking about is like, how the heck am I going to get to my car from here? And if
I,
you're a dad, that's you don't want to be annoyed by anything else at that point.
yeah. I like to try to stay well past the rush to get out of the parks. I'm not always successful. When I'm there when I take my
But
wife.
you're a rope dropper to the end, kind of.
Usually I am because I want to get every penny out of my experience. And I'm typically not someone that goes multiple times a year. Now, this
Or multiple times a week.
the last 2 years have been an exception. But and yeah, and you live right down the street, so you're going all the time.
I I look I look at the park and I look at TikToks. Right now, the holiday is the worst time to go to Disney. It's full
Mm.
every single day, but it's
Mm.
also the most beautiful time to be at Disneyland, I think.
Oh yeah,
And and there's something about it that it just does not drive me insane.
Mm.
Like I am okay with a 10,000 people, and I am okay navigating through. And I've trained my kids, my family. We know how to navigate through a crowd.
Yeah, I've been there with you a couple times, and yeah,
You got
you
lost.
navigated very well. And I don't get lost, but
You
I
probably
I'm on my own pace. I am no longer. I used to be terrible at the parks. I know exactly where I want to go, and I'd beeline every place, and I'd be the
so
one.
you're me in like 30 years.
Yeah.
No,
But
you're not that much older than me. You're like 25 years older than me.
yeah, about 25. Yeah. So
So yeah, that I have something to look for. Slowing down.
yeah,
My,
I slowed quite a bit down.
there's just something about being at Disneyland that like first like every single one of my problems leaves. Like I don't think of Jiro when I'm at the park. But there's something about being with other people. Like I just never bothers me. It never drives me insane. The inefficiencies of the cast members drives me absolutely insane. But that's
Yeah.
just the engineering in me that I like.
Yeah,
Like
I do the same thing. We were talking about this while we were waiting for a ride at Knott's Berry's farm a couple months ago, and yeah, I do the same thing. Anytime I'm in line for more than 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, we could probably do this better. Now, Disney, it's very hard to second guess some of their engineering, but other aspects, yeah, there's like, okay, why are they doing it this way on this ride? But they've got a perfect solution on that other ride,
you know, right?
but they didn't implement it
But
here.
we're gonna have to do an episode where it's like, how the heck do Disney rides break down so often and for so long?
Yeah,
Because
especially the new.
it blows my mind that we have constant refurbishments.
Mhm.
What the heck are you doing during refurbishments if not fixing the ride?
Yeah, and enhancing it so it
Yeah,
doesn't
and if
break.
you're enhancing it and fixing it, like how is it breaking down?
Mhm.
Like it just does not compute in my head. That'll be a
Well,
future episode.
it's not a new thing, but recently it seems to be happening on a lot of the newer rides too, and probably more so on the newer rides. And did they just get too complicated? But yeah, we'll save a lot of that for
Well, so yeah, so I think it might just be bad design, not necessarily the IT. I don't think. I think that Imagineering.
don't give IT a break, but
No, like no. Well, I'll give you a great example, right? Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad, which uses the same technology from Rise of the Resistance.
yeah.
That one's constantly breaking down, but
So
it's
is
not
Rise.
breaking down. But it doesn't actually break down. What happens is there's a scene where there's a tornado,
Yeah.
and they have winds blowing, and so those magic ears, whatever you have going on, they fall off. Also, and they have now banned phones on that ride during the cha-cha dance.
Yeah.
Everybody pulls out their phone because you have this giant mirror. Well, in that swing, that phones go flying. The moment anything lands on that ground, it's so pressure sensitive for the device control that it
Yeah.
trips up the whole sensors, and so they
Yeah.
got to reset the whole thing the moment
Yeah.
any feather lands on that floor.
Well, I for one would not be upset if they got rid of that back and forth jarring
The
during
cha-cha.
the cha-cha, because that's the only thing that bothers me about that whole ride, and because it just twerks my back the wrong way, and I often forget it's coming.
But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't help that somebody slams the bar all the way.
Now, the version of that ride in Disney World, that dance scene seems to be longer. I don't know if it is or not, and I've only ridden it once in Disney World. But it that was the first time I experienced the cha-cha thing, and it just shakes the whole car back and forth, and they're like, I could hear my spine snapping. I was like, okay, this is terrible.
So to bring this episode to a close, first of all, subscribe so that Shawn and I can eventually afford to go to these parks and bring you even more magical experiences. But number two, speaking of cha-cha and music and the theme parks, one little trivia that I wanted to share with you. I don't know if you know this, but when you are on the outside of the turnstiles, you will hear familiar music from all things Disney. whether
Mhm.
it's Frozen, Avengers, soundtracks from the movies, scores from the movies, right? That is the moment you get off the tram, and anytime you're in downtown Disney, the whole
Yeah, all
middle,
the videos played
I forget
there.
what they call that middle section. It has a technical term,
I'm sure it does.
promenade or something like that. Right? So anytime that you're outside of the gates and outside the turnstiles, you just hearing classical music. Once you go through the gate, you hear no music. And it's not until you pass the tunnel that then you then hear the sounds of
Okay.
Disney specifically.
Yeah.
So it's Disney it designed it to be very much like a theater show, right? Where you have the outside of the theater, and then
Yeah.
inside of that waiting room before you get into the concert hall, there's that no music part. And then you're basically walking into the theater the moment you cross through that gate. So it is the tunnel. So it is a very symbolic tunnel to walk through each and every time.
Yeah, and majority of the music that is played throughout the different lands is more subtle. It's not verbatim the exact soundtrack from a movie or
Oh,
anything.
right, absolutely, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So very, very different, right? It's a Disney vibe, but it is interesting though how they from an audio perspective
yeah,
guide you into the park, because once you're in the park, it's a show, right? It's a very choreographed effort that of forcing you to be somewhere very magically,
it's painting the entire scene for you.
right? So I need to go try out the Disney World though, because there's something about arriving in a boat that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's one of many ways that you can get.
Because I can physically walk from my driveway to the front of Disneyland, and to arrive in a boat is kind of interesting.
So that's another good episode. The if you've never been to Disney World before and you're going to the Magic Kingdom, do you arrive by boat or the monorail?
Or a car?
No, you can't drive up to Disney World. You have to you drive to the
Are there
central
trams?
station. No,
So it's
so
monorail or boat?
monorail boat's the only way to get to Magic Kingdom.
Can you hitchhike it?
I believe yes, you can. You could walk to
But
it.
it's not recommended.
No, there's one resort that it's walkable from, maybe two, but for me, one that I would walk to. But that's another episode.
Awesome. Well, folks, again, hit that subscribe button. Shawn and I love Disney way too much, probably more than we like our day job. So
We're definitely Disney adults. Yeah.
make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, share it with your friends, family, and everybody else you know. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a magical day.